Hey guys, Crystal Thompson here with Studio Katia Project. I'm so excited to be here with you today, feeling much better. Today we're going to be doing a really fun way to use pattern paper. I know we all have stacks and stacks of pattern paper, and so we're going to be using it as a background. So for our main event, we're going to be doing the cover grid. So this is a grid cover, and I have already pre-cutted it out of my Gemini, and it's just a really fun, really clean lines, and it's going to pair fabulously with clean line pattern paper. So with that being said, that's going to be the main cover. You're of course going to need your card base that's going to sit in the back of this. And then you're going to need, of course, pattern paper. So I have already pre-cut it, and this is just from a previous kit. And what you want to do is that you actually want to trim it to 5.5 with 4.25. And then go in and leave the corners of it uncut, but then cut the edges. And if you follow, if it's a strip, a striped piece of paper and you cut along the stripe, it makes it so much easier and it makes it really clean. However, if you cut it to the length and width of your cover die, it makes it so much easier to be able to line those corners up. Okay, with that being said, for our stamp set, we're going to be using the beautiful Kind Bouquet. And the reason we're using this is I really wanted a nice bold sentiment because we're going to be heat embossing that on some vellum. So we're going to be doing Kindness Matters, and we're going to be heat embossing that and placing that over that cover die. And then let me show you, you probably haven't seen this. This is a little sneak peek. This is from Studio Katia, and it's absolutely perfect for picking up and placing your Studio Katia embellishment. So let's get started. All right, so for the assembly of our cards, this is what we're going to do. So I was mentioning earlier during the product introduction that if you cut your cardstock the same length and width and leave those corners exposed, and all you have to do is cut the edges, if that makes any sense. And you can follow, again, if it's a stripped kind of paper, follow those stripes. I didn't do it on this corner, but then I did on this one. So this is a trial and error, and you can see how that makes a difference. So we're going to bring in our Tombow adhesive. And again, you don't have to use any specific kind of pattern paper, whatever it is that you're looking for. But I thought that with Valentine's Day, this would be a really fun pattern paper to use with some Studio Katia products that you might already own. So on this, we just have to line up those corners, and if they don't line up perfectly, that is just fine because this is going to sit on top. So I have already die cut my grid cover, and I have added some foam adhesive on the back, and this is from Studio Katia. This is part of that huge roll. Let me bring over this roll. And it is massive. I know it doesn't even fit in the frame of my video. And it is absolutely perfect for making shaker cards or even utilizing it such as what I'm doing here. So I remove all the backing, and we're just going to place this on top of this. Super, super easy. And it makes it look like it's cardstock. I originally thought about using different pieces of cardstock to create this. But I'm like, you know what? I have so much pattern paper. So there we have it. Now we're going to move on to creating our sentiment. All right, so we're going to begin by doing our heat embossing. So I have my Kindness Matters already on my block ready to go. And I'm just going to ink this up on my clear ink. We're going to stamp it in the corner. And honestly, it doesn't matter where in your piece of vellum you do. So even if you use a scrap piece of vellum, that's fine because we are going to trim around it and make it look like a drop shadow. And you can, get dyes and stuff that do that, but I love to use our Studio Katia supplies on hand. So we're going to do a little bit of heat embossing here. Remove any excess, just try to clean it up. And we're just going to heat emboss, and it heats emboss so quickly. But the minute it's shiny, just remove heat from it. And then we're going to let that cool for just a couple seconds. We're going to bring in our detail scissors. And we're going to trim around the entire sentiment. So what I mean by drop shadows is that you literally cut around the letters, especially when they're round letters such as S's and such. It makes it really easy because you just have to curve around the letters, and then we follow it around. So found a little trick that if you cut the actual piece of cardstock into a straight line, it makes it a little easier to maneuver. And when you're cutting, another tip is to actually move your cardstock instead of your hand. It's going to be less wear and tear on your wrist, and you get those beautiful little bubble-like cuts on your vellum or cardstock. So we're going to keep that bottom nice and straight. Now we have our kindness matters. So now we're going to bring in the card base and we're going to place it on our card. So on this we are going to use some clear adhesive. So again, I'm going to use my Tombow Mono. I'm just going to run that across the kindness. We're going to place it on the left bottom center of the card. And last but not least, we are going to embellish using the iridescent bubbles from Studio Katia. And I just felt like these would give it just a little bit of shimmer and make it pop, but it wouldn't take away from the beautiful cover die that we got going on here. So I'm going to use some clear adhesive, just something that makes it look really, really clean. And I usually prefer my Studio Katia glue. I am just completely out. Then we're going to bring in our Studio Katia embellishment wand, and it's just so, so pretty. And it has a wax tip, and so it makes it picking up these embellishments really fast, really nicely, and you can place them just exactly where you want. And as you know, if you're using bubbles, it can be a little bit to pick up with other embellishment wands, and so this is just a really fun way to use it. So I have my adhesive right there. I kind of lost where my adhesive was, but there you have it. Super easy, super clean card using basic supplies I already have. You need a cover die, you need pattern paper, and then you need just a sentiment stamp. And in this case, I'm using the Kindness Matters from the Kind Bouquet. Be sure to click subscribe. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you would be so kind and just leave a little comment below, let me know if this is something that you would make with your Studio Katia products. Stay tuned. We have a live on Saturday. It's Creativation Week, so I can't wait to see and show you what we got going on. Guys, Crystal Thompson here for Studio Katia. Have an amazing day.